Yo, the R5 just dropped $500 in price. That's kind of crazy. And so we just decided to buy a brand new R6 Mark II. Yo, hear me out. I know the title says 5 things to know about the R5, but please, hear me out, please. So, if money grows on trees for you, just bag the R5 and move on with your life. Yeah, that's fine. This video is for people who, money does not grow on trees, and also they've been saving up with their own money, and they've been seeing videos and articles about the big beefy R5, and then the R6 Mark II over here. So, this video's role is to go over differences between the R5 and R6, and so you can figure out for yourself what you might need and what you might not need. Let's check it out. Okay, first off, number one, obviously the most important, glaringly big difference, the R5 shoots 8K internal RAW 60 FPS and 4K 120 FPS. Meanwhile, the R6 Mark II... Okay, but hear me out though. While it is true, R5 slams the R6 Mark II in terms of filmmaking performance, let's be real. How often are you actually gonna shoot in 8K RAW for that matter? How often are you gonna shoot in 4K, 120 FPS? You know what that's gonna do to your computer? Your poor, sad, helpless computer? You feed it that 8K RAW file, you feed it that 4K, 120 FPS file that's like so many gigabytes that you can't even comprehend? Do you know how many extra SD cards you're gonna have to buy for all the storage you need? You know how many extra hard drives you're gonna have to buy and tear through for storage and space? All that extra necessary prices for what? That you can flex if you're shooting in 8K versus 4K? Practically, let's be real here. How many people in your audience that you're making your videos for are gonna watch your video and be like, wow, I'm an expert videographer, and I can tell that you shot this in 8K and not 4K, and I applaud you for that. And oh, what is this? What is this? Actually, it's 8K RAW? That's even better. I applaud you even more, good sir / ma'am. Ain't nobody do I be doing that, what? Unless you're submitting videos to people who already are videographers, then okay, maybe. But to your general audience that you're gonna be making videos for normally, typically, it's not happening. Like, real talk, 8K RAW and 4K 120 FPS, that was some really good specs. But in practice, as a regular prosumer, do you really need those specs? Be honest, you really need those specs. If you film something in 4K 60 like what the R6 II is capable of, let's say you film someone's basketball game, is their parent gonna be like, you shot this in 4K 60 and not 4K 120 or not 8K 60? I'm mad. No, they're gonna say, wow, this looks great. You did a great job. Assuming you did a good job. For both 4K and 8K footage, there's really not a difference to your client for that matter. I'll admit that 8K RAW could definitely be useful for like actual filmmakers that are making short films or feature length films and things you're gonna put up on a big movie screen that's gonna be filmed and shown to many people for, I don't know, like film festivals, events like that. Sure, but at that point, if you're buying this camera strictly for filmmaking and you already know there's a lot of issues with, the R5 overheating and all that stuff, at that point, why not just get an actual filmmaking camera? Bro just grabs you a Red Komodo and put the mini heater down, bro. Okay, number two. So another big glaring difference is the R5 has 45 megapixels full frame sensor, while the R6 has 24 megapixels and also has a full frame sensor. And technically that means that images from the R5 are about like 1.4 times wider and taller than, R6. But realistically, 24 pixels is more than enough for most of what you'll be doing in the first place, for a majority of users. Especially if you're not even gonna be printing anything that's bigger than 8x12. Majority of people, you're not gonna be printing out stuff bigger than that normally. Don't get me started if you're not even printing stuff out in the first place. If you're solely just putting stuff online on your portfolio or Instagram or Facebook, most of the websites and places and platforms you use will already decompress your image so much to the point that it doesn't even matter for real. To be honest with you, if you're really gonna be posting everything online, you technically don't even need more than 5 to 8 megapixels, because that's how much things just be decompressing your photos and videos by. So yeah, the R5 definitely has like a lot more megapixels than the R6 Mark II, but in practice, and the key word here is in practice, there's not really much of a difference, unless you're going to be printing out majorly big wall-sized prints that you want to make sure you have all the details possible. Okay, number 3, the autofocus. R5 boasts a juicy CMOS autofocus, 5,940 points of autofocus for the R5, while the R6 Mark II boasts 4,897 points. And what does that really mean? That means like on the screen, when you're tapping your screen to click on various like points of areas that you can autofocus on, it means the R5 has more points. Realistically though, once again, in practice, not much of a difference. You already have thousands of areas you can click on your screen to, autofocus on. So just like, is that what you're paying $1,000 extra for, just to click Like you could do the same thing basically. Like it's fine. It's fine. What is different though, and you'd be surprised here, is that the R6 actually offers half a stop more sensitivity for focusing in extreme low light, and it also has newer AI recognition software compared to the R5 because it came out a little bit later. So actually, this means that the R6 Mark II is just slightly better in autofocusing compared to the R5. For continuous shooting, like the mode, the R5 has 20 FPS electric shutter. Meanwhile, the R6 Mark II has 40 FPS electric shutter. That's wild, huh? But to be honest though, the R5 has a higher buffer, which means you can for longer and it keeps it up more, while the R6 has a lower one. But technically, since they have different rates of firing, like 20 FPS and 40 FPS, kind of hard to compare anyway, so just like. And lastly, this is kind of just to tie everything together for this last point. So, if you're an independent filmmaker that needs to shoot at the highest quality settings, highest quality potential as much as possible, I want to emphasize when I say needs, like absolutely needs to use the highest quality megapixels and highest quality resolution just to put it on a big screen to show it to lots of people, but you also want to be able to take some pretty nice quality pictures and not totally sacrifice the ability to take photos because that's like the other side gig, then yeah, this camera could be for you. I'm not gonna lie there. But for 90% of people, and I really mean that 90% of people, all that does not apply to you. You can do more than fine for what the R6 Mark II offers compared to the R5. More than fine. At the time of making this video, the R5 is $3,000. It's down from $2,500 from the retail price. And the R6 Mark II, I believe the retail price is $2,300. But I've seen plenty of deals for the R6 Mark II that's like $2,000 flat. Or you can get $2,100 for like a bundle coming with like SD cards, a light, some other stuff. Around $2,000 to $2,300 you'll find it. That means you could be saving an upwards of $1,000 when you buy the R6 Mark II versus the R5 and still get pretty good settings, pretty good filmmaking and photography potential. You could put that extra $1,000 into so much stuff, like, I don't know, these DJI lav mics right here, or maybe this DJI RS3 gimbal, and even this small rig 120B with a small rig parabolic softbox to go along with it. Shameless plug inbound. This is equipment that we actually just bought and are actively using. If you're thinking of buying this too, check the description. We got affiliate links for all the equipment that was just listed. You earn a little commission from every sale generated from that link. If you're planning on buying it already, you might as well help support us, right? If not, that's okay. Carry on. Let's say you don't spend that $1,000 on gear. You don't spend that $1,000 on food or whatever. You can just buy what you want to buy. That's a free $1,000 that you would have had to use otherwise, and now you don't have to. You could get yourself something nice for your brand. I don't know, maybe get a little bit of yo, check it out, bro. Oh, man. Omni-chain. Bow down to the Omni-chain. Bow down to the Omni-chain. Bow down to the Go buy yourself a new iPhone or something. I don't know, people be buying $1,000 phones nowadays for whatever reason, but anyways, I will say that if you have the money to spend that $1,000, you don't need to keep it, and you don't need to put it into any new gear. Sure, go ahead and get the R5. Like, it's technically objectively better in terms of filmmaking potential. It's not bad to get it. Overall, you can still get so much out of the R6 Mark II that you either can't get out of the R5 or you already can get out of the R5. But in practice, it's basically no different other than it being $1,000 more versus not $1,000 more. Am I making this just to rationalize my purchase of buying the R6 Mark II instead of the R5 that I could have bought? Maybe. If I had the money to throw away, would I buy an R5 instead of an R6 Mark II? Trick question. I would just wait for the R5 II to come out or the R1 to come out and then, feel me? Easy money. I'm out, folks. Dropping the mic. I don't have a mic to drop. Dropping my phone. Why'd I do that?